Time to sing. Beep. The guy said that it's red. I said there's a lot of red cars today. He said it's because of the Husker game. Like everybody just has red cars today because of the Husker game. Like everybody just rented red cars today because of the Husker game or something. It is a lot of red cars today though. Time to sink. It's a lot of red sink cars today. She's laughing right now. I'll walk over here. Is that sink? Was it a sink? Is it a sink? Is it a sink? Is it gonna sink? Is it sink? And is it gonna sink? When it sink? Is it gonna sink? Sink. Is it gonna sink?
Somebody does help support.
Did the beep sync? It might have beep synced, but I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. It beeped at the start of the video that it was synced, and I just saw a white SUV drive out that looks synced right now. So that looks synced. Is the phone gonna ring synced?
I'll talk to you when you get there.
Is it synced?
Did you find everything?
Yeah.
You have a busy day today?
Busy day of sinks. Red sinks.
Pardon me?
Red sink cars.
Okay.
No, she took care of me. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you so much. You have a blessed day.
Time to sink. Is it time to sink? Is it white? Right at the end of the aisle, white, and then white, white. Sink. Sink. Sink, sink. Is it sink? Is it not red cars anymore? I was seeing red cars before I went in the building. And I was seeing a lot of red cars on the last video, and that had a 44 on it. And they're all silver, and this is white, and it's sink. White sink. White. White sink. White sink. A lot of white sink. Here comes the red. Is it gonna sink? This car looks synced. The red is pulling up right now. There's a red sink. Is it gonna be red car day again? This car is turning as it drives by, and it's almost at the door where it's driving by, and they look synced. It looks synced. That looks synced. Is it Whitey's? Is he synced? He walked out after I walked by the corner of the building. Was it synced? I don't know. He's closing his door right now as that car is turning. Oh. He just went back in the door of the building. He closed the car door, synced, and then he went back in the door of the building, synced, and the Whitey synced, and the red truck synced. Synced. Whitey sink. Sink. Here comes the Whitey that synced. Oh, he's gonna sink again. Sink. He synced at both corners, I think. Looked like a sink. Is the cop gonna drive out right now? Is there gonna be a sink? I see a white sink. Is it sink? Those cars look sink. What's not a sink? This car looks synced. I think it was black and silver cars at both sides of the street synced. I think that's what happened, and it was synced. Whatever happened, it was synced. There's bugs flying in my face, and I think it was synced. Usually synced. Was it synced? Is that a Whitey sink? Was he a sink? Is this a sink? It's a sink, I think. Think. It's a sink. I think he's turning right now. Yep. Toe lift sink. Toe lift sink. I hear the engine sound back here. Is he a sink? Was that one? I don't know, maybe. There's this white van behind me at the same time. I think it was a sink. I see a white SUV over there. Was he a sink? I see this car driving out right as I hear this engine sound behind me, and it's a red car. Is it a sink? Is it sink? Is it gonna sink? I think I saw two simultaneous silver cars when I looked back there. Just like right when I looked back there. It's like they put impulsive thought in my brain to look back there or something. I don't know. I heard an engine sound when that black car drove in front of me, and then I see a red car and a silver car over there as I hear the engine sound again. But yeah, I was seeing a lot of red cars on the last video, and then I was seeing more red cars before I went in the building, and then seeing a few red cars on this video. So I don't know if it's still red car day, if it was red car morning. It was just red cars for that video. But I saw some more synced red cars. The one with the red shirt in the grocery store pulled up with the red car when I walked up. Is it a sync? Is he gonna sync again? No. Okay. This car looks synced. I hear an engine sound at the same time as it over there somewhere. It sounds synced. It's a sync. It's a sync, I think. I see a red car over there. Is he gonna sync? I think he just turned right there. Don't sync. There's another red car and another red car. They're in front of me at the same time. And then he's turning the red car, sync with the red car. Sync. Why is that not a red car? Is there gonna be a black car? He's parking the red car right now. Sync. Sync, sync. And like he just sat there and waited to drive right there with the silver car. Like he just sat there. And then there's a whitey and he's gonna turn right now. Sync. And then he just got out of the red car at the same time, I think. Sync, sync. Is he gonna have a blue shirt? Oh, okay. Is it a sync? Like this car is pulling up and oh, that's the silver car. That's the one that's synced. Look, synced again. This looks synced again. Sync, sync, sync. Everything looks synced. Everything looks synced. This guy's yelling right now as I walk up to the intersection. Here's a sync. Is this a sync? Looks like a sync, I think. Sync. This is the car that turns synced, and here's the sync. And they look synced. There's red cars. There's two red cars. And a white truck. Is this gonna be red? Silver. Looks synced though. Sync. He's syncing there. Looks synced. I think this has a 77. Is it synced? Again? Is it gonna sync again? It has a 77. Is it gonna sync? Don't sync. Is that red shorts sync burp? Sync. Sync, sync. Sync, sync, sync. He's pulled up, sync. Red car. Red car sync. Another car just drove behind me when I go through that door. Sync. I hear sync sounds. I hear sync sounds. Because I came in the aisle, I just heard I just heard that when I came in the aisle. Sink. Hmm. I hear the door opening. See, did the thing beep right when you walk by me? I think the thing beeped right when you walk by me. Was it a sink? Is it a sink? Is it a sink? Is it a sink? Don't sink. Is it a sink? Is it time to sink? Is it time to sink? Is it time to sink? Is it sink? It's like, is it time to sink? There's a red car driving in front of me. You hear it and sink. It was time to sink. 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 I hear people sink. I hear the sink. The baby crying might be sink. I don't know if the baby crying is sink, but sometimes the babies crying are sink, so it might be sink. I see a tail lift. Sink. 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 I see sink. I see sink, people. I see sink. Sink. I see sink. I see sink. I see sink, people. Is it another red sink? There's this car at the same time. And it's turning next to me. Parking. Sink. Tail lift. Like, I just see the tail lift, like, drive around the corner of the building. And as I walk around the corner of this building, I think it was sink. As they always are, so it's probably a sink. That red car looks sink. This white truck looks sink. This car is probably gonna sink. It's turning right now like it's a sink, and it's tan. And it's driving right here like it's a sink. And this is a red truck at the intersection. Sink. A sink. Are these all synced? I think they're all synced. She's turning really slow. Dang, she doesn't know how to turn a car. Sink. Look, sink. Red and orange sink. And I guess the yellow car is like, I don't know what is the yellow car a color thing. Oh, there's a tail lift. Is it synced again? This car is driving out in front of me right now. And it's silver, and then that's the black car, and then sink. Here comes the silver sink. There's the sink point. Sink, 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 silver sink. This has a C3 license plate, and there's a guy on a bike in front of me at the same time. He probably had a red shirt. And this car was driving out as I hear an engine sound behind me, and I heard another car, or I saw another car turning behind it. And this is gonna sink. Is it a sink? This one looks synced. Looks synced. This guy has a red shirt. Sink. But yeah, I swear a lot of them be driving by and they just look like depressed. Like they just look, they're just like looking forward. Like they don't want to look at me. This car is starting right now. Is it white or is it red? Sink. Is it gonna sink? These cars look synced, and then it's taking off, and it's white, and it's gonna sink. Here comes the sink. Is it gonna sink? It's got an 88. Is it sink? There's a white in front of me. Or there's a white as I walk in front of it. Sink. That was synced. Wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you think? It looks like a sink. I think that was a blue car, wasn't it? There's another red car right when the red car starts to drive. Oh. Looks rather synced. He's hitting his brakes synced over there with the red car, I think. I think he's doing syncs. Gotta sync all the way up the street, and then he's gonna turn synced, and then this is synced with another red car, sync, and this is turning out synced, sync, sync. It's like they drive, they like drive and then stop and then drive again, like they're gonna go. Like, are you gonna go or not go? Sync. Here's a green truck. Haven't seen a green truck all morning. Has a 113 license plate. This has an 88 license plate on the whitey, and I think this has an 84 license plate. I think it did. Look, seen. Is it gonna sink? I don't know if that car synced. Did it sink? There's a whitey going on the train tracks right now. Is it sink? Well, here comes the blue car, and here comes the red car, and then I think that truck was turning synced, and then here's another blue car, and then here's the white car, Oh, that's not a blue car. Never mind. Is it synced? I think the guy on the bike over there is synced. These whiteys look synced. This tan car with the whiteys look synced. This one light's gonna sync. Here's a tan car. Was it a tan sync? Here's a tan car when he gets across the street. Here's a red car. Is it a sync? He's got a red shirt and the one light car, and I hear an engine sound, and I see the whitey turning over there, and I see a guy on a bike over here. He looks synced. Is he synced? Is it sync? Alright, pay attention. Cars drive over the train track synced when the cars drive up to here, so if I miss it, that happens all the time, so if I zoom in on a car over there, it's because they're driving over the train track synced. Are they synced? I see a bunch of silver cars all at once, and then a black car. Or that's a blue car. Is this synced? I hear an engine sound behind me right now. Like driving behind me back there. I think it was a sync skateboard. What do you think? Was it sync? Are they gonna sync? Is it sync? Sync. Look, sync. That has a B9. Is it sync? Where's all the red cars? I thought it was red car day. What's happening? Do I gotta put on my red shirt or my blue shirt today? What do I do? Is it red car day still? Does anybody know? Does anybody have the calendar? Because this morning I was seeing a bunch of red cars. I don't know. These all look synced. They look synced. It says at 86. Sync. Black, silver, sync. I think this has a C3 on it. Haha. Sync. And then there's black and silver cars syncing with the black sheriff car, I think. And they got red shirts in there, and they're smiling. They look like they're sync-tarded. Sync. Black, silver, sync with the red sync. Is there a black, silver sync with the red sync? Is this still red car day or what? This has a military license plate. I'm trying to figure out, is it still red car day? I'm seeing red cars again. Is it red car day again? Like pick something. Like pick a color. Damn. They gotta do the black and silver though. They gotta do that. And then they gotta do the red and the blue occasionally too. And they gotta throw a tan car and a green car in occasionally. Here's a silver car and a black car and a blue car. Okay, is there a red car? I think she's got a red shirt in the blue car. I see a bunch of black and silver cars. Is it sync? He's got a red shirt. Is this a whitey sync? Sync. Woo. Is it gonna sink? Don't sink. I saw a white SUV drive by over there really fast. I don't know if that was synced, but it was right when this one pulled up, and this car is pulled up, and it looks synced with the whitey for sure. That definitely looks synced, and this car door is closed, and it's a red shirt, and it's synced with the white. Is this a sync? Is it a black silver sync? Is it a black silver sync again? I think it's black silver sync. Here comes a blue car. Don't sink. There's a white truck driving out over there right as he drives up. And he's driving out, and I see a cop turning over there too as he drives out. And he's driving out on the street right when the blue car drove through the intersection. And it all looks synced. Is there gonna be another blue car right now? Oh. I don't see a blue. There's a blue car. Is he late? You're supposed to be here. Here's a blue car. Is he synced with the blue car? Is it a sync? This car just turned right when the blue car drove by me. Is the plane gonna fly over my head? It's not gonna fly over my head. Is it gonna be a sync plane? I see a red truck over in the parking lot. I had to think about where I saw him at for a second. I saw him over in the parking lot, turning around, synced to that red truck, I think. I think I saw a cop over there. Is the plane flying over synced even though it's not over my head? Maybe, I don't know. This red car looks like it's gonna sync with this blue car. Is it gonna sync? Is it a sync? There's another red car when he gets across. Is it synced again? This has a blue truck, or is it a blue truck? Sync. This is a blue car. Sync. 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 I see black and silver. Sync. Black and silver sync. Black and silver sync. Black and silver sync. Black and silver sync. Oh, that's a blue car. That's a blue car, and that's a red car. Sync. Is this a red sync? Is it black silver sync? It was a sync, I think. Was it a sync? This car is driving out as this white car drives. I think this whitey was going through the intersection synced, and then he's just waiting to turn until this car pulls up. He's just sitting there waiting to turn with the black silver sync. 66. Is it a sync? Is it a sync? Is it a sync? Is it gonna sync? Oh, that car trying to sync with the sync. It's synced. And there's a red truck and a blue car and a purple car. Occasionally I'll see a red car and a blue car sync, and I'll see a purple car at the same time. And red plus blue equals purple. And a sync. This car just turned. Tan car turned when the mail truck drove by me. Looks like a sink. Wouldn't you think? Looks like the red sinks. He's parking the tan car as his white SUV is pulling up. There's the sink. Oh. This is blue and blue. Sink. Oh, that's silver, but that's blue though. Sink. That has a 93. Was it sink? This has a 777. Is it sink? Is it a sink? Whoa. This car is always sink. That's another one I forgot. This one's always sink. I mean, I think it's always sink. Like every time that I've seen it. You know, I used to work at Domino's and I didn't sink, so someday I might see a Domino's car that's not a sink head, but every time I see a Domino's car, it's sink though, usually. This guy's got a red shirt and it looks like a bunch of black and silver. He's got a military license plate. He probably drove out of the VFW parking lot or something. I think I saw a cop drive by over there. Too many sinks, man. I can't. Damn. Let me catch a breath, man. Is he gonna sink? I hear an engine sound behind me, and I see this red car turning back here. This white SUV just started. Do they got a red shirt? Is it gonna sink? That whitey was driving by sink with these cars. This one has an 84, I think. 84 sink. This bug is flying in my face right now. The whitey's taking off. Is it gonna sink? This whitey has a 93. Is it sink? It's two red cars, and as the whitey is taking off as they drive up, sink. I see another red car over there. He just drove out on the street. The whitey's driving out. It seems synced again. I think this has a C3 on it, and I think this truck is synced, and I think it's synced. Is it synced? Is it red sinks again? Is it the red-blue sink now? He's got a blue shirt and the red car. He's got a blue shirt in that blue car. That has a military license plate. This car has a 22 license plate. This car is going over the train tracks right now. It looks synced. This car is pulling up right now. It looks synced. Oh, sync. Sync. This car's going over the train tracks right now. I think he's synced. Is he gonna meet a black car and a bunch of silver cars? I see a red car driving by over there. I think it was a sync. Another red sink. Hey, I know her. I know her. She's nice, but she sinks. She's cool though, but she sinks though. They're closing car door over there, and it's a red car, and this is a blue car. And they got a red shirt and a red hat. And then there's a green car and a yellow car. And he's got a red shirt and the green car. Sink. Is he gonna sink again? He's getting in the car as his blue car is pulling up. He's getting in the red car. Didn't he sink with another blue car before that? Is he gonna drive out synced with a blue car? Here's a blue car. Is he gonna sync with it? That blue car is going through the intersection right now. Looks like he's syncing with the blue cars. And then he's meeting this military license plate. And sync. There's not another blue car. This has a 44 license plate. Is it sync? Is it black silver sync? It's got the 44 license plate. Is it a sync? This has a 22 license plate. Is it a sync with this? Are they always sync? Are these always sync? Do they always look synced every single time I see one? Because to me, those always look synced every single time I see one. On every video they've ever made and off video, they look synced. Don't they look synced every single time I see one? Look synced. Doesn't look synced out here. It looks synced. I think the mail truck is taking off synced once more. Is he gonna sync? I'm not gonna break my neck to look at the mail truck. This guy's pulling up on the Domino's at the train tracks. Is it synced? It's two red trucks pulling up when the Domino's car pulls up. Is it synced? I see a white car turning back there. I think it was synced. Is it gonna sync with the motorcycle? Is it red too? Why isn't it a red motorcycle? There's another red car. Is it sync? Whoa! I think that car was synced. Oh, there's a blue car. Is it synced? There's a red car with the blue car again. Another red car with the blue car. Sync. Another red car with the blue car. Sync. What's gonna sync next? Is it synced? Were they synced? Woo. Is this gonna sync with this? Are they black silver sync? Sync. Black silver sync. Sync. Car door closing with red shirt out of a red car. Sync. With black silver sync. White car on the train track. Sync. I hear this kid yelling over here now. Out of the red car, I hear a child sync. Car door's closing right now. Sync. 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 What do you think? I think a sync. Think a sync. I think a sync. What do you think? I think it synced again. I think I saw syncs with the tan sync. Looks rather synced. Is it synced? Was it synced? Black car in front of me and black car next to me at the same time. It says a B99. Is it synced? These people are walking up right now as I walk through the alley. There's a red car. And then this red car was synced. And then they're getting across the street right now at the door. Sync. Sync. What do you think? It's a sync. This red car is turned back there and it looks synced with this red car, and he's driving by as I walk by the mail truck. And he's just sitting in the mail truck. Is he gonna sync? Oh. Is it synced right now, I think? Is it tan? He's just waiting to drive until this red car pulls up. Is it synced? Is it a sync? Oh. There's a red car. Is it red and white? It's sync? Is it a semi-sync? Looks semi-synced out here. That car is driving by at the back of the trailer, the semi. I think it was synced with it. They always do that, synced, so it's probably synced. This looks synced. I'm right at the corner of the bank right now, and I hear an engine sound over there at the same time. Sync. And then someone was walking off the sidewalk, and I think it was synced, and I think I see silver syncs at the same time. Sync. And a sync. Silver sync. And he is parked. There's the loud engine sound car that I was hearing synced. He's right at the crosswalk. And he's gonna make more engine sounds behind me synced. He's gonna do it all the way up the street synced. This car, I think, is taking off synced. Is it synced? He's making the engine sounds as his car drives by me. Is it synced? Is it gonna sync? Is it synced? Here's a red car. Is it sync again? It's not a red car. I hear the cars, the engine sound behind me at the curb synced. Do you hear the car farting behind me? He's synced. Sync. I was crossing the street earlier, and like I walk in, like there's these people. I think they're like pushing a baby stroller or something, and like as I walk in front of them, like as I'm getting across the street, they're like talking to each other, but they're like "fuck you." Like she's like talking to the other person, but like they're saying it right as I walk in front of them. Is it a sync? That was white. Was it a sync? Is it a sync? I think. I think. This car just pulled up at the same time. I don't know if you can see it on the other side of the sign, but it pulled up at the same time as the white. I see a blue truck over there right now that looks synced. Is this guy gonna sync? Don't sync. Don't sync. He just walked in the door right now. Was it a sync? It was a sync, I think. I think these guys are walking out synced. Are they walking out synced and then going in the door synced? Is it sync? I think I saw a white truck turning. Yeah, I saw a white truck turning behind him when he opened the door. And then I see a white SUV turning in front of me when I walk by the door. And then I saw a bird fly in front of me right here. And then I see whiteys. And then I see another bird that looks like it's synchronizing, I think. And then is the bird a sync? Don't sync. think the bird actually was a sink, though. I'm not joking. I don't know. The other bird was a sink, though. I don't know about that bird, though. I don't know if it's all the birds or what, but a lot of them are synced. I see black silver synced in front of me. Sync. I see people with a dog. They're probably sync. They're probably gonna walk right now when I walk up. No. Okay. Is it sync things happening again? Probably. It's a 99% possibility. This has a 99 license plate. This is funny, right after I say 99. That car looks synced. Haha, sync. This has a 555 and is it gonna sync? Don't sync. Don't sync. This door just opened right now. And I just know that's a sync truck over there, though, because it's next to the other car that's driving by. There's a red truck with tan sync. And he's getting across the street, sync. And the engine sounds behind me are sync. It's a lot of sync. Time to sync. White sync. This car is driving out of the parking lot. I think it's synchronizing. I don't know. It says a 93. Is it sync? Oh! I see a red car back there. I think it was synced to this red car that's pulling up right now. Is it sync? Oh, these are always synced. These are always synced every single time I see one. That's the one. They're always synced every single time I see one. The red ones sync with red and blue cars. Like the red cars of like anything, like Domino's blue car syncs with red and blue cars. This has a 33 license plate and a red shirt. It's probably sync. Oh, looks sync. Oh, sync. Sync, sync. This has a 55 on this car. Sync. That's a tan car, and this is a white, and they're sync. And it's got a red shirt and the white, and sync, sync. Got a red shirt in this red car. It was like early for that one. This is right here. Is it sync? Is it sync? Is a bike gonna ride out under me right now with the red shirt? No, not that time. Sync. Are they sync? I don't know if they're sync. Are they sync? What's not a sync? I don't know what's not a sync. It's sync tardy. That I don't know what's not a sync. Isn't it sync tarded? I think this is a whitey. Yeah, it's white. Sync. It's probably a parade of sync driving by. It's probably a white car followed by a bunch of black and silver cars and red car or whatever. I see two people that are gonna walk in front of me simultaneous right now. Sync. Sync, sync. And then they're walking off of the bridge right now. Sink. Looks like a sink. What do you think? I think it's a sink. White sink. The sinks. The sinks. Time to sink. There's a bunch of white cars driving behind me in a row. They like to sink here, this roundabout thing on the path. Is it gonna sink again? I see a bunch of white cars still back there, so I think it sinked over there. And I think I saw a silver car at one side of the roundabout, and then I turn around at the other side and I see black cars. Sink! I see people walking over here. I think they're synced. I hear engine sounds as I walk up. And are they gonna sink again? Are they staring at their phone waiting for the next sync orders? I hear a dog barking over here. I think it's sync. Probably sync. I hear a bug buzzing by my ear. That's probably sync. It's usually sync. That's a dope, man. I like it. Simple. It's always like right in here, they don't sync usually. Or I mean, there might be cars over there synced, I don't know. But like the last few times I walk through here, they don't sync like right in here until I get up to here in the fork in the path, and then they sync. Is it gonna sync at the fork in the path? There's a guy in a car back here. Is he gonna sync at the fork in the path? Take off synced or something? Da-da! What's happening? Is he sync? Did he sync? Alright, I'm not gonna turn my head backwards. He might have been synced though. It's a high possibility that he was synced because I just see sync, and then I see occasionally, extremely rarely, I'll see people that might not look synced but might be synced and might have did a sync that I missed. And like I'll see somebody and like I'll be like, oh, they didn't look synced, but then like every single time I see them after that, they do look synced. Be like, damn, they were synced. And they probably did a sync that I missed before they walked by me. Like sometimes they won't walk by me synced, but they'll walk out in front of me synced. And sync tarded, bro. It's like, da-da. Is there sync patterns happening behind me even though I'm not watching? Probably. And then like I'll see like out of state plates, and I'm like, do they vacation to sync, or are they here on a sync vacation, or are they just visiting and then they sync while they're here? And then like what if I miss the sync? Like if it's a Texas plate and I miss the sync, or if there's some intricate sync and I miss it, then I missed it. Don't they feel like a failure? Missed the sync? I think I see syncs. What's gonna happen right when I walk up? Is it gonna be red? There's a tan car. There's a blue car right now. This car order's open right now. Is it blue? Oh. I think it's a blue truck. Is it sync? Is it a sync? And like, he just like stops when I turn my camera around at him. Like he just stops, stands with his truck door open for a second before he gets in. I see this as this is driving out. That's another one that I always see syncs. It's a lot of things that I always see synced. Like basically everything in town that has a car, I always see synced. Every time I see it, I always see synced. Sync, red and blue sync. I hear the engine sounds behind me sync. I see a lot of sync. This has a D4 on it. This has 66. Got 66 on it. Sync. It's got a military license plate on it. Sync. Looks like a lot of sync. I think this mail van pulled up sync again. You know, as always, every single time I see them, I think, I don't know if they did something in the silver car when I walked by, but they got a red shirt though, and it was a silver car driving by me on the street at the same time, so it's like, is it gonna sync? This is right. It's like right after that. Looks like red and blue sync. Is it red and blue sync? Red and blue sync. Sync, sync. Is it a sink? I think this one's a stalker too. It's a lot of stalkers. There's a lot of sink things happening. I mean, you can say that they're not stalkers, but it is a lot of sink, right? Is it a lot of sink? I think it's stalkers. But I know that they're sink. I don't think they're sink. I just say I think they're sink because it rhymes. But I know they're sink. So are they stalkers? Because why are they sink? I think they're stalkers. You can make up your own mind about it. I think they're stalkered up. Red, blue, sink. Another blue car turning and the blue car drives by me, sink. It's got a C3 license plate, sink. Woo! Sink, sink. Sink. Tan, sink. I see two cars with their car doors open. I don't know if they're doing sink things yet. Probably at least one of them's gonna slam sink. I see multiple red cars when I walk up. Like this one just pulled up right when I walked up. So. And then this red truck just turned over here right as this one's getting to the intersection. And this looks like sink, and it's blue-red sink, and it's a sink. And it's a black-silver sink, and it's the blue-red sink, and it's the B9 sink, and it's the sink, and it's the B9 sink, and it's sink, and it's sink. Two B9s right next to each other. Red and blue. Red and blue sink. You just turn right when I step up on the sidewalk. Sink. Everyone sink. This truck door is starting right as I walk by it. And this car driving by at the same time, and I heard a car honk sink, I think. And it's a lot of sink, and that blue car drove out in front of me when the red car was driving by me, and they're getting into 77, and it's gonna sink. Time to sink again. Time to sink. As a white car drives by, it's time to sink again. There's an engine sound behind me too. Sink. Oh. This guy just went in the door of the building. I think it was sink. I think they're all sink. Is it gonna sink? It's two black cars at the same time. Are they sink? What do you think? What do you think? A sink? I think a sink. I think a sink. It says an 88 on it. Is it synced? It's driving right when I walk up to the intersection like it's a sink. I saw a car right at the curb like it's a sink. I see a 4486. I see a walk up like it's a sink. I see a sink. Sink. Time to sink. This car door is open right now. Is it a car door? I think it was a car door, or it's a motorcycle. He's turning the motorcycle off right when this red truck parks, and then they're going in the door right now, and it looks synced. And I'm walking by the harbor bar where they sync. He's got a red shirt and he's synced. Was that the guy from the blue motorcycle? Is he the one with the red shirt? There's a car driving by the motorcycle. Was it a sync? This guy's pointing at me, or he's like pointing when I walk by. The guy with the red shirt and the other guy that he's talking to has a red shirt inside. But it's Husker Day. It's Husker Day. I forgot. So they might have red shirt just because it's Husker Day. I don't know. This car has one light. I don't know if you can see the one light. It's Sync. It's driving by the ATM. Sync. And it has 99. One light. Sync. And then here's the 4486 one, and then I see multiple silver cars in a row, and then she just turned the corner right now. Sync. Drive right now, Sync. Sit there and then wait, and then drive right now, Sync. Woo! Sit there and wait, and then drive by right now, Sync. Sync. It just always happens synced. Everything's synced. Why does everything always happen sync? Is something gonna sync again? I hear engine sounds. I hear engine sounds right there. Was it sync? Oh. I hear engine sounds right now. Is it sync? I think it's a sync. I think. Honk. Was the honk a sync? I think the honk was a sync. Was the honk a sync? They sync? Is it a sync? Is this a sync? It's starting. Is it a sync? I think they got out of his car synced with that car. I don't know. Did they sync? Did they sync? Don't sync. I hear a car door closing as he walks in front of me. Is it synced? I hear a car starting right now. Is it synced? Boom! Is it still red car day or what? See, it's a blue car. Was it synced? Is this a sync? I hear an engine sound as he drives out. Like I hear an engine sound over there somewhere. And then he's syncing with this car. And then it's a sync parade of syncs. And they are sync. Sync. It's a red car when I walk up to the street. And then the white car is gonna drive by when he turns. Oh, it's a black car. It's got a 77. Ah. Where'd the white car go? Did he sync? These look synced. This is gonna sync right here. B9. This just pulled up. Sync. I see a black car behind it. Sync. I see a red car that's turning right now. Sync. I see a sync. I see a red car over there right now. Dun-dun. I see a blue car right here. Is it sync? Was it a red-blue thing? I think these cars are driving out simultaneously sync. And then a black sync with the silver syncs. And then a black sync with the black sync. And then that blue car looks like it turned synced. And then a green car is gonna sync. I hear this guy talking as it drives in front of me. Is it sync? Where is he? Is he a sync? Oh, he's in that car over there. Is it sync with the red shirt and the white? Sync. Is this bird gonna sink? Where'd the bird go? Did he sink? This white SUV way behind that car was turning at the same time as it. 33 sink. White sink with a 33 sink and a red sink. Sink. The sinks. It's got a 55 sink with the 33 sink. Sink. The sinks. That has an 88. The sinkers. Is it a sink? Don't sink. Was it black sink cars? There's a black car and a black car behind me right after it. Is it sink? Don't sink. There's a black car. Is it sink? Black, silver, sink? Is it sink? This is parking right now. It's tan. Is it sink? Duh! Is it gonna sink? It just parks finally right next to me. Like, you can't see it probably. It's just like parking finally right next to me. And then I see someone with a red shirt. Is it a red sink? She's walking up to a car right now, I think. Is it sink? I think it's a sink. 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 I hear car door slamming and I see this person turning on the sidewalk. Is it a sink? Ooh, she's walking by me at the door and I hear her car door slamming again as she walks by me at the door. Sink. I see a whitey turning in front of me right now and I hear an engine sound behind me. I see a car door slamming. Is it sink? I hear a kid screaming. Is it sink? Was it a sink? Probably a sink. Red and blue sink. Red and blue sink. Red and blue sink. What do you think? I think a sink. I think this guy just walked out in front of me right now. I don't know. Too many sinks. Is he gonna turn right now? Is this guy gonna do something? Is something gonna sink? Is he gonna sink? Is it sink? He's just driving up like he's gonna hit me. Are you sink? Sink. What do you think? I hear an engine sound as that car drives by me in a corner. I hear kids screaming right now behind me. Is it synced? This guy is getting across the street right now at this door, like, and it's that door too, I guess. They sink all the time. And I heard a kid screaming, and this car was turning synced at the same time, I think. And the guy is gonna walk by me synced, and the car was driving by as the engine sound going off. And it sync. And a sink. 1, 2, 3. Sink. I see a silver car over there. It's synced. A synced one. Is this gonna sink again? Is this sink honking? Sink. Oh. Is he a sink? Is he sink-tarded? Is he honking again, sink-tardedly? You hear him honking synced? Is he honking with me talking? it was synced, whatever it was. That red car was turning right as that red car was driving by me. Sync. There he is. Mail car, is it gonna sync? Is it synced? Probably synced again. See, like there's occasionally times where I'll see a mail car or whatever, and I'll be like, was it synced? But it probably was synced though. Like this blue car is turned right now. I think it's synced. This red car is synced. This is taking off at the same time. Sync. Whitey bot sync. Sync, sync, sync. Red, blue, sync. Sync, sync, sync. 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 But yeah, occasionally I'll see like a FedEx or whatever, and I'll be like, was it synced? But most likely scenario, it was synced, even in those occasions. And even if you say that it's not synced in those occasions, it's still 98% of the time synced. So every other time it's synced. And you can't deny that it is. Like every other time, a FedEx, a Service Master, a Telelift, a cop, or a bus, or a school bus, or a cab, or any one of those things, or a garbage truck, or whatever, are always synced 98% of the time at least. So, just are. You can't deny it. White truck synced. What else is synced? Anything not synced? I saw a white truck over there. He looks synced. Is this guy synced? I saw a guy walk in front of me. I think it was a sync. Just too many syncs, man. Like he's like way down the street from me. Damn. Like, what if you put on your red shirt and you're like, I'm gonna sync on him today. I can't wait till he sees my red shirt. And you buy a new red shirt and you spend a bunch of money on it. And then you walk in front of me and I miss it. What then? And you drove all the way from Texas, and then you're just driving back home. You just sync on me one time with your red shirt, but then I miss it though. I didn't see it. I saw a red car turning behind that red car when it turned. I see silver cars over there, and then I turn and I see a black car over here. Is it sync? This bird is flying up as his car drives by me, and it has a 33 license plate. There's an engine sound behind me, and it's going off as he turns. I think it's that car. Yeah, the 33 license plate. Did you see the 33? I saw it. I don't know if the camera picked it up, but I saw it. It was a 33. It was synced. This is synced. There's a bus. There's a bus right now, just like I said, like every bus that I see is synced. Even these ones. Every time I see a bus, it's synced. He's stopping at the center of the street. See the whitey turning? He's synced. I think I saw a UPS over there. Sync. I think it has a 42 on it, on the white. that synced. Look synced. Look synced with the 44. Look synced. Another bus. Look synced again. Another bus. I think the bus was meeting the car that drove by me synced. I hear a car door closing right now, synced. He's driving off. He's a sync. I think I heard a dog bark synced or something. I was crossing the street this morning and I heard this, like, it was quiet. It was like mostly quiet this morning. I hear, woo! Is it synced? Is it a sync? Yeah, I was crossing the street this morning, it was quiet, and then right when I got across the street, I heard this kid, like, yelling down the street, I see the bus right now, the bus, sync. And then the other bus right at the curb. They were sync buses. And then the other bus right at this curb, sync. Sync. And this butterfly just flew by me synced, I think. And then this white SUV looks synced. Everyone looks synced. I don't know who's not synced. Who's not synced? Battery's about to die. My battery's about to die, but they're gonna keep syncing. It's gonna be synced. Sync.